You have labels that want you to look so good. They'll clean up your Instagram page. They'll give you a personal photographer to go with you. They'll know that when you go to America, right? Or you've got an American tour. Yeah, we know you're just performing in a club. You know what to do? Here's a briefcase of 100,000 US dollars. When you get there, and you've heard these stories, I've heard these stories before. Nigerian artist goes in there. Nobody knows who this guy is, maybe in the States. He knows his Nigerian market brought him there. But you know what he's gonna do? Get to the balcony in the VIP section, start throwing money. Next thing you find, next year he wins a BET award. You know what I'm saying? Because these labels, corporate, it's a relationship.
They have a plan.
You know what I'm saying? I said for me, if I've seen some corporate brands which are doing some good, where they've sent some celebrities to another country and whatnot, and that's good. You know what I'm saying? Send a celebrity on holiday, and then just say, okay, as long as our brand is on every picture of yours, because sometimes people follow a lifestyle. So those are tips that I keep telling people that are going to be able to work to strengthen this industry. And once people begin to respect the art, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I saw that guy on a billboard. I saw this person what? When you go in their life, I saw them driving a new car. You have people who give cars. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's for a year, we're gonna say, okay, no, you're gonna drive our branded car for a year. Because if all we're just gonna have it is in the showroom, if it's, waiting for someone to buy. But if it's on you, we know it's on your Instagram page. We know you take pictures. We know you
have a show.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going to drive it.
You know what I'm saying? Then the concept, even like the way certain cars that we've seen, the concepts that we have of why those cars are amazing. Why? Because we followed someone's lifestyle who bought that car.
Yes.
And we think,
and I made it
a Maserati, Bugatti. Why do we see it? Because we are also seeing somebody's lifestyle and we're thinking, hey, Bugatti. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Then you'll be known as Showstar, the guy with the Bugatti. You know what I'm saying? So marketing companies need to be able to be aware of this and see that they can play such a big role in the strengthening of this industry, man. Like, I'd love to see DJs get those major, because your voice is heard at the same time. When I was in Kenya, you have DJs who are making, money, serious money because of this. Because that influence, man, is not something that just comes easily. You know what I'm saying? You do something differently. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that marketing should not just end on three P's of marketing. I think it should go beyond, and people should use, they should try and tap into people's numbers and see how they can work out. Anyway, moving on. You are chairman of Zamcops.
Yes, I am.
I know we almost started this and I've moved you this way.
Yeah.
I want to know how, for people who don't know what Zamcops is, what is Zamcops? What animal is it? What does it do? Where does it stay?
Yeah. Okay.
And how that is working out for you as a new chairman.
So I became chairman last year. I took over from. He had served his 6 years, which is 3-year terms, two 3-year terms. Honorable Dr. Hamkale, he's now Minister of Southern Province, and so it was I didn't think I was gonna be able to win. I didn't think, but yeah, I think what pushed me differently was. I connected with a lot of different artists where we talked extensively about the things that we wanted to see change. So I took over last year. We have half a new board, half some of the board members are from the previous regime. So it's been good because I think we get some wisdom from how some of even the plans that they attempted to implement a while back, we're now trying to implement them now.
Oh, okay.
And so it's been really good in that sense that we can get a perspective from all the new ideas and also
and the people that have been
how
there.
can we do it. And everyone's rejuvenated, feeling really good. The biggest struggles I will honestly say that we are facing right now would probably be in the areas that we feel.
Just hold up.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us what Zamcops is and
So
what it does.
Okay, great. So Zamcops is the Zambian Music Copyright Society. So what we do is that we license the music. We license music that artists make. So that way you have ownership over your music in the sense that no one can basically claim your song and you're going to be able to fight it in the court of law. So I do encourage that anybody who makes music, if you're an artist, we even license singles. Before they only used to do albums, now we license singles as well.
Awesome.
So if you've got a new single, you just made it, come register.
Last I checked, you needed to have like an album, a list of songs.
Yeah. So now you can actually do a single now.
Awesome.
So what we do, we license that, and how we collect your royalties is through radio stations, TV stations, anywhere where your music is played publicly. So these are called public performance rights. So anywhere where your music is played publicly, in a hotel, in a bar, in a restaurant, sometimes even in a bus, as long as they've got that radio on,
yes,
those people are listening. And it's also moving to the point of whereby we, if somebody's calls you, they're getting a free song being heard. Yes, that's
awesome.
So we're trying to work towards that as well, because we had to cancel that because it brought a lot of things. So we said let's do it right, rather than getting ourselves. And there was some bad deals that were done before. We're trying to clean those things up. So that's basically what ZAMCOP's job is, to collect royalties from all these institutions and places which are playing music of these artists, and to be able to give the artists what is entitled to them. ZAMCOPS gets a 30% for administrative costs, because collection, lining, and everything, and we're also connected to an organization called WIPO, which basically keeps a track record of your music internationally.
Oh, awesome!
So which means we don't just collect from Zambia, but we collect from everywhere your music is being played and in the world. So we can be able to do that. You can also you can have your own publisher who can do that, or basically you can come and register with ZAMCOPS. But ZAMCOPS, that's what our job is.
Yeah. Before you go into certain things that you're probably finding as obstacles, I want to find out the accountability. Mm-hmm. Is it how are you making it sure that it's top notch? Like, how do you make sure that the buses that are playing my music, maybe we're using my flash, which are the bars. How do you keep count how many times my song plays in the bar as compared to the next guy?
So right now what we have is a standard annual fee. If you're looking at we're still in negotiation and speaking with the buses, but what we do have is we have a standard annual fee that we work with either restaurants and bars, where they pay a yearly annual fee. So it's standard. We're moving into a more digitized age. You know what I'm saying? Where we can be able to keep track. How we're going to be able to do that, we'll announce that as time goes on, when we can solidify that. And so that with radio stations, what we do collect is they give us log sheets.
Yeah, log sheets.
Some of them use digitized log sheets where they can tell you, okay, this is the full digitized. And then many, which is a lot, do give us actual written log sheets. So every month they'll send us a book from either all the way up north or in Chipata or somewhere, and they'll say, oh, this is our log sheets. Yeah. So then our people have to start for a whole month. What you did for a whole month, and sometimes because again we collect annually from them. Sometimes it's after so you're going through 3 months worth of books. So that's how we collect royalties.
I've got another question, but finish your point.
Yeah, so basically that's the process in terms of collecting.
Okay, great. So then you said something like bars, restaurants, and certain places have got like a standard fee that they pay out.
Yeah.
So then you divide the amount equally with all the guys, or you look at the guys that put out songs that impact in that year?
We also try to work with the popularity. With the there's because again we're trying to create a more a better way to do it. But currently what we're working with when we collect from those is that we do unfortunately have to work with the popularity. Okay, what's the most played song from the radio station that have given us? So you have a sense of what music is being played majority in those bars and different things. And some bars will tell you, these are the top music that we play.
Or some bars will actually even say.
Yeah, but what we're trying to do, what we're attempting to do in that situation is we're trying to create an app. We actually did put out a tender about a couple of months ago. We're looking for a company that can be able to help us digitize some of the things. So maybe a digitized app system that any bar or restaurant that is registered as Zamcodes could use. So we know that they're playing music from a playlist. So we can keep track of what music they're going to be playing. That way, because you find different artists to say, no, these people played my music, I've heard my music, it's popular here, but it's not, but why am I not getting royalties? Well, I will explain why some artists are not getting royalties in that sense as well, because there's also bigger issues that we're facing in that context. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring a more accountable system. Another way that we're trying to be very accountable is, at the last AGM, there was a lot of, talk about people wanted better trust, more clarity. So what we've done now is that we have engaged. We actually reached out to Zambia Institute of Accountants, and they sent us a list of all the accounting firms that they have in this country. So we wrote to numerous ones, and then we said we're going to find a new accounting firm, and with the board we sat down, we questioned around, got some, and so we've picked a new accounting firm that we've given orders to be absolutely independent. Because I think when I stand at the next AGM, I want to be very clear to people. If we're not progressing, I need to be able to help people understand, why are we not progressing? These are the things that we're doing. This is where we want to go. And so all of us are on the same page. Because when you're handling people's money,
hey, dude,
you know what I'm saying? Because every salary we pay, people be like, that's my money.
That's my
money.
What I'm saying?
Me, I didn't get paid, but these guys got paid.
We get paid, yes.
We have to be able to let them know, like, this is what we're going through. These are the sacrifices we're making in order to make this happen. Yeah, and making that happen is quite a tough road. Yeah,
it really sounds tough. But so far, with what you've said, I think it sounds very progressive.
Yeah,
like you're going somewhere.
It is progressive, but one of the things that we really need is, first, we need the law in our favor. So we are relying heavily on a change and a strengthening of the current Copyrights Act to work in our favor, which would be amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the people that we do have arguments with, they're like, no, why should I be playing? But you're basically abusing something that was never made free.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because the artists, the amount of money that they spend to make this music, you cannot just play this music publicly to draw your customers and walk away
make
with it
money.
scot-free.
Yeah.
No, that you have to pay for. You know what I'm saying? Even a radio station, we can't. If we said we're going to extract music from a radio station, we can't. You're gonna have talk radio, But at the same time, that's why I say it's a marriage between the DJs and the musicians. The musicians pay the studios to make music, they produce, and they bring it to a station, and the DJ can decide whether to play it or not. But once that music is playing, there needs to be that return. So our biggest always right now are radio stations. That's what we're fighting with as well at the same time, and so we're trying to get some more clarity and a better way to make for that. And at the same time, we're really trying hard to work with these institutions like the council, and at the same time the Bus Drivers Association, so that we can be able to begin to collect royalties accordingly in all these places. Many restaurants are not complying, many bars are not complying, but we're getting them to a place where they can be able to comply legally. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time to comply and understand what we're trying to do. So in our last board meeting, we're doing an entire change, facelift to Zamcorps in terms of its approach and its reach and our outreach. We're actually going to be hiring some more staff. And we wanted to be able to do more registrations around the whole country. So many times artists have to travel to Lusaka in order to register.
Yes.
Yeah, travel to Lusaka. We only have 2 offices, one in Lusaka and one in Kitwe. So we want to be able to expand that. We have artists who've written to us in Chipata, we have artists who've written to Northwestern Province, and and all these places. And with the coming of different things like awards, which are awarding artists from all different places, we realize that it's bigger. So we're hoping that all these radio stations around the country can be able to work with us and comply in helping us to collect what is due to these artists. And rather than just not providing, because many times even some people are in court right now where we're fighting just for the money that is owed to artists. So it hasn't been an easy battle when the law is not in strength in your favor. So that's what we're hoping to achieve, and during this period of time.
Awesome. So you said that you're actually working on putting up offices in all these towns. Do you have officers who are collecting money in these other towns apart from Kitwe and Lusaka?
So we do we're in terms of because we collect royalties in terms from artists from radio stations in every town.
I'm talking about maybe the restaurants, the bars.
But the restaurants and bars we do have. We're trying to do that more, but not as strong as we can. You know what I'm saying? Once we do have guys who travel and go to these places, but what we're trying to do is a more centralized way. So the more centralized way is we understand that there's a council office in every country. You know what I'm saying? Nearly every town.
Yes.
So having a Zamcorp's representative in every council office will be the best thing.
Be ideal, yes.
Because when you go as a restaurant and you go and register your restaurant, you go and get your liquor license, you go and get all those licenses, you get your Zamcorp's license. Perfect place to be. So we had that meeting with Honorable Vincent Mwale, who loved the idea, and we're hoping that that's going to be the next phase. So incorporating that with also the new idea of now maybe where we create now a system, because also with every registered member, we also want to have a digitized tracking system.
Yes.
So the digitized tracking system will be able to make sure that every person who is owing Zamcorps, even our license officers, we know their movements.
Oh, yes.
So which means we know that, okay, if we're sending this guy on the road, we know that he's going to touch this restaurant, that restaurant, that restaurant. And then we get a report in terms of which ones didn't respond or comply, and then we send them letters. So we're really trying to change it into a very modernized, kind of similar to a tech company, but because I feel it would be more transparent, where artists can be able to say, oh, okay, this is where my money, if they come to our offices, they can say, okay, no, if they don't know where's my money, what happened? We can show them an annual clear way and say, this is where your money is and this is why it's not thing. One of the first thing that we did was, so Zamcorps had a policy of, if you don't collect your money after 3 years, that's it. It goes into administration. That was actually part of the Constitution, Zamcorps Constitution. So what we're trying to do is, what we made is money for life. So which means even if you don't collect your money after 3 years, you could be able to collect. So I had some artists who were like, I live in the States, I haven't collected my money, shan. So we said, okay, let's try it. And we started sending out checks.
Are people communicated to could check or they have to actually come?
Yeah, so sometimes we try to reach people and let's find someone that's changed their number or they haven't been in reach with Zamcorps in a long. And also there's just this idea of, Zamcorps stole my money.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we want to kill off that idea. I have artists who wrote to me from Australia and whatnot because, again, we opened that discussion online. So people write to me and say, I've been in the States for a while, I've never received my check. So you look at the previous constitution, it said, that money is expired. But I said, okay, what can we be able to send this person if in terms of what is due. So again, you're also establishing new relationship and establishing confidence with the artist that you are able to, you understand what everyone is going through, and at the same time you have to be able to do what needs to be done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Surprise us with the next song.
Okay, cool. Let's see. What do we have? Showstar, do you have any special requests tonight?
I was gonna say extra time, but I wanted to play at the end of the show, so
All right.
So you do you now.
So I'll tell you, I've been battling a cough, man.
No, but you're doing great, my brother. We're not gonna let you go school free this time around.
All right, cool. I'm battling a cough. So this song is so like I said, it's been 10 years since I lost my father.
You're gonna do Father's Child?
Yes.
Why are you playing my favorite song?
But this is my favorite song. This is the best song I've ever written. This is the best.
This is your favorite song?
Yes.
You're playing just my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I've actually said I'm gonna redo it for this next project.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Please do,
Father's Child.
Please do, man. I love Father's Child.
Mystery revealed through love and sacrifice, not of my own, but of the Son. He came to me in peace and held me in his arms and said, today said today I found true love. So it has been since then. I've been my father's child when I received his son in me. Down at his feet is not where I am found to be, but on a seat right by his side. But on a seat right by his side. For I have tasted grace so sweet I can't let go. Once an awful mess, now pure. What can separate me from my Father's arms? I will always be my Father's child. I will always be my Father's child. So let us come to Him, no matter who we are. The price is paid, the path is clear. Don't be ashamed, His love has washed away our sins. He's made us new, all by His own. He's made us new, all by His own. And it's not yet revealed what we shall be in times to come, but what can be more glorious than to be with our God forever in His arms, and to be called my Father's child, and to be called my Father's child. Oh, for I have tasted grace so sweet I can't let go. Once an awful mess, now pure. And what can separate me from my Father's arms? I will always be my Father's child. I will always be my Father's child. I found a love that never fails. That faithful love until the end. I found a love that never fades. That faithful love that says, wherever I go, no matter how far, my heart is not alone. We're never apart. Your love remains the same. Your love will always stay with me wherever I go, no matter how far. My heart is not alone. We're never apart. Your love remains the same. Your love will always stay with me. Yeah, oh, my daddy you are. My daddy you are. My daddy you are to me, oh God. My daddy you are. My daddy you are. My daddy you are to me, oh God. For I have tasted grace so sweet I can't let go. Once an awful mess, now pure. And what can separate me from my Father's arms? I will always be my Father's child. I will always be my Father's child.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this song, man. I love your music.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
If I was gonna say you do a song before extra time, I was gonna say this one. So I still don't know how you went to this song.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so welcome back. Still hanging out with Abel Chungu on HI5 here and there, and of course, is doing saying a lot of sensible things and playing a lot of sensible music. So everything sensible is happening in this show today. Not so long ago, you were trending. Do you just like to trend? Do you just like to? What happens?
Tell me why I'm walking out.
This time around, you're not walking out. That door is closed. And
What? Yeah. Yeah, man.
You trend a lot. I've never gotten to a point where I don't know. Like I still don't know. Maybe I get it from you. Yeah. Do you want to post something and you'll be like, okay, this one people are going to talk about. Let me post it anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's times when I'm just, it's not a sense of like I'm looking. I think for me, when I'm gonna do something like that, then I kind of know that I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Then I've said, okay, this one I'll be ready. I'm ready to handle it from all angles. You know what I'm saying?
And I've been in that space before.
Yeah. I think I think. How do I even say this? Are we talking about trending like generally or just specific issue or like?
Well, yeah, generally, and then some specific issues here and there.
Yes, I think there's on the specific issues. I think one of the things that I've been trying to be with, even with my music, is I'm very transparent in terms of like what I talk about. I've never tried to make myself in any way like I'm more special. You know what I'm saying? Well, I've got it together and everyone follow me. I do understand the pressure or the responsibility that people talk about when it comes to being an artist. But I think the truth about really being an artist is that you are a full representation of who you are as a human being. If you're flawed, you exhibit that in your music. You say it, you know what I'm saying? So I've said it in my music forever. I've said it in the new one called Always Got Jesus. Even when I talk to people, I'm very open about, I said, a couple of years ago, I almost committed suicide, you know what I'm saying? I share about depression. One of the things that we do now, even this last night, I had a very deep discussion with a fellow artist who, was feeling like taking their life. And this is a person who's popular, doing really well in their music, and they said, my family admires me, everybody admires me, but why do I feel like, I'd be better off dead? And so it took a while to tell that person and talk, and I was sharing with that person, I was saying, listen, one of the things about being great is that you bear the responsibility of having transparent mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you are now what everyone's mouth is talking about. Everyone's seeing you from the mountain because everyone's looking up at you. And so when you fall, you're the topic of the people who never dared to climb. I said, but when the things that you do have to understand is the higher you climb, the thinner the air, the harder it becomes. You realize the more alone. You know what I'm saying? At the base, man, you're hundreds. You climb higher, you're 80 people. Then 50. Then the next thing you're like, only 5. And you're alone. And I said, so that's the thing, but you don't even know that you're breaking ground or you're changing the system or the area before you even know it. Years later, people are looking up to you and say, because of you, you really inspired my life and whatnot. And so I've always exhibited. I said I don't want to let anybody down. If I want to be transparent, and if somebody asks me about something, comes up to me, I said, what? I would like to be open enough to say, yeah, I've been through that. I struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? Or I still struggle with that. But at the end of the day, I can be truth. At the same time, I think there's also a lot of, we're also in the social media age where people love what they call clout. You know what I'm saying? They love this whole idea of social media fame. You know what I'm saying? They feel like if I take a shot at Abel, I'm going to trend. You know what I'm saying? If I take a shot at Showstar, and the thing about it is that people would never say this to your face.
No, they don't.
I grew up in a neighborhood where I wasn't even a neighborhood. I would just say even in the Times, if somebody hears that Showstar said something about this guy, you know what they're gonna do? Even the people you told will go and tell that guy, and then come with that guy.
Yes.
And that guy will say, Chinja, and your friends will say, hey, you're not coming. Because you have to be able to back up everything you say. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, so the idea of I can say whatever I want and hide and not be accountable, and I can't say it to someone's face, has created such a false level of bravery. You know what I'm saying? And we're celebrating this, which is what is sad, is that we celebrate these individuals. We celebrate, the life of people being able to bring down somebody without even. And I tell people, I said, we're such a small country in terms of what we've reached, so that even if the moment you just trend, I mean, how many of us are on social media? To be honest, you know what I'm saying? Kenya's got 30 million people on social media. In this country, you have less than 1 million people, to be honest. So if you're talking about, if I'm gonna bring down my friend, it's me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because the idea of unity is just not there. So some of the things I've caught on social media, I remember I was doing this event. I remember they posted a picture of it on Mwevantu, where I was doing an event, Denim and White in Kitwe.
Yes. And
Afunika was also launching his album there. So he was like, oh, Abel was performing at Afunika's album. and I laughed. I said, if you looked at the video, I'd even posted on the page. And it was, again, everything is in the details and the information. So you want to go with the story that works rather than get the actual information. So the actual information was Denim and White. That was the second year I'm doing it. And the relationship that I have with them is that they help support my orphanage.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. So the part of the funds from Denim and White go to help the orphanage.
Nice.
So I'm there as an invited guest. I don't mind being backstage. I'm also the chairman for Zamcorps. You know what I'm saying? I'm the chairman for Afunika and everybody else. So one of the questions that was asked at last year's AGM was, are you going to only be there for gospel artists? I'm like, no, I'm going to be there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to know what everybody's going through. When we did, again, it was Day of Thunder. It was a big issue. And I think I explained that on your radio show.
Yeah.
It was very clear where I said, for me, when I went to Day of Thunder, it was an invitation by Zambia Breweries, because I made a contribution to their training session for their Thunder Beats. And the winner was actually a Christian guy. And my argument started on social media where I said I didn't see any gospel artists on that stage when they were putting out the list. And people like, what? The argument wasn't just, well, maybe some are not trending at the moment. I would have understood that. But the argument was, you guys are not, what finish fire could. Meanwhile, I'm like, but in 2016, I'm one of the people that headlined it. So you can't say that if I did it before, that somebody else can't be able to do it. I would like to see somebody else given the opportunity. And so I talked to them.
Some of the comments that were coming out maybe via Twitter, I was like, no, but have you seen Don Moen performing at Coachella and whatnot?
And I laughed about that, because I'm just like, that's the thing, is the idea that gospel music is a genre of music. I know I do understand that, but one of the things that we do understand is that there's music that has a sound that we relate to. You know what I'm saying? There's Christian hip hop. There's Christian guys who are rappers. You know what I'm saying? Who are R&B singers. People right now bumping Extra Time. You know what I'm saying? That's not a song that Don Moen can produce. And so Don Moen is a very, if you take it, it's country. It's more country music, his style. So I wouldn't expect to see Don Moen at Coachella. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's happening at the moment at the same time. But in our circles, yeah, we can invite Don. We'll always be blessed by his music. But so that's, for me, I felt like I always want to see a platform where it gives a mixture of music where everyone can be able to be represented and share their message. But if you're going to tell me that the message of faith cannot be shared on that stage, when Zambia is a Christian nation, when everyone who is commenting has heard my music, you know what I'm saying? You know my music. So why are you pretending like you wouldn't want to hear it on the stage? You know this Esther Chungu's music. Why are you pretending like you wouldn't want to hear it on the stage just after Slap Dio before? You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, if you talk to Slaps is a Christian. If you talk to Chef is a Christian. You know what I'm saying? So if they want to do a rap song about God, what should stop them? I've talked to Mumpy. You know what I'm saying? Mumpy says she's a Christian. So at the end of the day, what should stop them from there? So is it the artist or is it the art? Is it the music? So I think it's open the stage, and obviously being there, you have people who want to take a picture with you, and there was a picture that ended up trending because I took a picture with a girl who had asked for a picture, and I'm just like, oh no, it was high. I'm just like, you have no idea.
Oh, people were saying that you were high with some chick.
Oh man, I looked like I was high, bro. Apparently I was drunk
with some chick at the DOT.
Bro, there was even a story at I was kicked out. In fact, Zed Gossip. Yes, owned by Felix. Yes, I know the owner. I know he lives. And at the end of the day, but I got nothing. I just read this, and I'm reading this, and it says, he was drunk. In fact, he was insulting, and now his church has kicked him out.
No,
bro, it was not even jokes.
Why do people get some of these things before they can put them out?
And the thing is, backstage is such an open place. Like, if you saw where I took it, it's such an open place. I took 100 pictures that night with Mappy, with J-Rocks, with what. That girl, I remember she took a picture with other of the artists around there. And so, but I knew that mine was going to turn. The moment I wake up, and I have this group called The Boys, like with guys I grew up with in the neighborhood who still keep in touch. And when I know a guy all the way in Kitwe sends me a picture and says, say, what was up? I'm like, and so the other guys in the group are like, we know. And then some other guys are like, guys, I just saw it in another group. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Wait for it.
I'm like, this is, well, yeah. And just like a few days before, I was going through this thing of, I was wearing earrings.
About the earrings, yeah.
And it was just like, it was one thing after another. Like,
so with the earrings, what do you say about that? Like,
so
you wearing earrings.
So let me just finish about the picture. So the picture is, for me, I felt, because I was in Livingston, I stayed a day long, and I honestly say, like, I've had different attacks on social media, but that one really hurt. That one really hurt because
for the chick?
It was for the one for the picture with her.
Oh yeah, yes.
That one really hurt because it attacked a certain characteristic which I have of myself, where I feel like I should be able to be free with anyone. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happened, and to that article, then somebody else posts another article, and then what ends up happening was there was a tweet that I posted up early in the day, not even connected to that picture. It was early in the day before I went to Dear Thunder, where I talked about how the first time I was in Livingston, it was where God called me to ministry, and I let her go as a prostitute to the Lord. And then that tweet was reposted it was response to the picture. No. And I'm like, but that's not what it was meant to be. I'm just like, so it was just like, it was the first time where you felt like you're battling with this thing where people say, as an artist, you're not allowed to say, just don't say anything. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you don't want to be on social media like fighting everybody, Because at the end of the day, like, okay, you're fighting this thing, then tomorrow if you're caught doing something that is actually where you're guilty, it will seem like everything, you're just defensive over everything.
Yes.
So I'm just like, you know what? So I had to just like take it in and just say, okay, you know what? I'll let people talk. I'll let people say whatever. Whoever wants the truth, let them go. And you were one of the first people to call. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. I'm just like, I appreciate, media houses, because I'm just like, you have the opportunity to tell, you know what I'm saying, the real story. So when you called me, I was like, oh man, at least somebody wants to, rather than me going on my social media. And again, you don't want to give those people that fame. You know what I'm saying?
No, like, why would you want to give them attention?
Because that's what they're looking for. They want attention. So you're making them famous on your page. Then you have followers in Malaysia and whatever, Sweden. But it's like, what's going on? Oh, it's trending. You know what I'm saying? So now you're giving people unnecessary fame. I'm just like, you know what? I just didn't want to mention it on my page or anything. So we left it at that. On the issue, and I remember that night I was at a Vani, and then some people came and asked me for a picture, and I refused. I refused because I just was in a band.
Yeah,
and I remember feeling really bad because it was just genuine. It was a family they wanted to pick, and I refused, and I felt bad. I was just like, you know what, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I self-assess. I'm like, that's not me, and I shouldn't allow how people treat me to help change the way I treat others.
People, yeah.
So I'm just gonna continue being myself. And on the thing about earrings, so I remember one time I tried to wear earrings when I was in grade 9, and I wore them early in the morning. And my dad never used to get up in the kitchen. So I thought like, we're gonna eat breakfast and bounce. My dad caught me. Just saw me. Yeah, I didn't even forgotten that I was wearing an earring. So he went, Came back with my mom with anointing oil, my guy. They're ready to pray. I'm like, hey, if I saw that to the farmer, because them, God, I'm hearing, who get? Yes. Who get? So it was just like,
parents understood it very well.
So the thing is, the decision that I remember my dad saying this. He says, not in my house. So I said, okay. So now, I hit my older age. I've got my own house. I've got my own kids. I've got my own family. One day, I told my wife, I'm like, yo, my wife is like, she wants to go and pierce her nose. I'm like, you want to pierce your nose? I'm like, I want to pierce my ears. He goes, okay, cool, let's go. So we went. And we even took a picture, man. Like, we even took a picture. And I'm just like, she's like, cool, you good with it? I'm like, I'm good with it. Are you good with it? I'm like, I know it's going to be easier on you because you're a female. But for me, like, I know. And I'm just like, I've always wanted to do it. I thought it was just something that I've always wanted to do. I liked it when I see footballers having it.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I know people think, it's not in your character. But I'm just like, I'm just being real with myself, I think.
Does it mean anything like...
If apparently have you read about it on the certain side.
Yeah, I've heard it like
if you wear it on the right side, I think it's the right side, but it might be a left. But apparently if you wear it on a certain side, it represents a sunshine. You know what I'm saying? Yes. If you wear it on a different side. I know some guys who know, like, who are just like, no. Because I know one guy, he's like, no, wear it on this side. Doesn't mean, I'm like, okay, cool. I forgot which ear it was. I won't, say, but I think if you wear it on the left side means you're gay. But
yeah, so.
That was like a thing. Yeah, but I think like gay people now, you can't even tell who's gay, man. Just like guys.
So when you did that, you were just having fun, man?
I did both sides. Like for me, yes. I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna
wanted to do
I
this.
even went to State House with my earrings, bro. bro.
You took me pictures of the president and whatnot.
If you see the picture of me and the president of the nation of Zambia, I had my studs on, bro. So I had my earrings.
So you didn't worry about maybe I'm gonna cause a little of attention.
No, because you know the thing that I also tried again, like that thing where you do it and you're just like, because I felt like, so in these institutions, these places of establishments, again there is that perception where you are perceived that if that knowledge or it looks a specific way. And I think this is why the entertainment industry is looked down upon, because if they see you with dyed hair, like you have nothing to contribute. And I feel like, okay, let me go in their State House with earrings on to break the idea, to break this whole
so I can go with earrings, but they should know that I can bring something to the table.
When I speak, and when I got a chance to speak, it was a good, short, intellectual conversation with the president of Zambia, and he said he liked what I was talking about. And I feel like if I leave that impression where, if he had seen me, if he had that mindset of, this young guy with earrings, he's probably one of these. And then when you speak and you realize, this person is actually concerned about real policies. Yeah. It leaves that impression for anybody else after that who naturally wears earrings, you know what I'm saying, or as a culture, that they should be able to be looked at, okay.
There are people that follow you, and we need to be closing because of time. Yeah. There are people that follow you as a gospel artist. Yeah. You're not worried about maybe what they would think about maybe if they see you with an earring.
So here's the thing that I tell people. I said, for me, the key part was my dad saying that not in my house. And I tell people, like, for me, the biggest lesson is that I honored my dad. You know what I'm saying? I honored the fact when I was in his house, it was his rules. You know what I'm saying? His culture, his time. He said, don't be home before this time. We obeyed it. We're good. When I've established my own house with my own place, I can be able to set, my own rules. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of earrings should not be about rebellion for young people. You know what I'm saying? If you want to wear earrings, if your parents are not for it, don't do it.
What's the name of your firstborn son?
My firstborn son is Zane.
So Zane comes home with a stud, it's going to be okay?
If Zane comes home with studs, and I would have a conversation, I would ask him why. Why do you want to wear earrings?
He'll be like, I've always wanted to do this.
I've always wanted to do this. And if I feel like in my house I don't want to allow that, then he has to be able to respect that, because what I did was I respected my house's rules. You know what I'm saying? So there's that thing where by people saying you're being perceived as an example, but at the same time, what I say is, I have a lot of people who follow my music who should not feel that they're not worthy enough. You know what I'm saying? They don't look the part of someone who listens to gospel music. or someone who can have a relationship with God. Because again, there's that thing of, what people don't understand is when you attack Abel, again, publicly, and you say, should a gospel artist, what you're also creating is the persona for somebody who has earrings, who doesn't understand what what the do's and don'ts of looking like a Christian are. They're just like, these Christian people. Over earrings. That's why I don't want anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? If you see a Christian tattoos, go in their inbox, ask them. You know what I'm saying? I had people who were in my inbox, and some I responded. You know what I'm saying? But if you were, you're publicly, you're even there, no shan attacking, I feel like you're not understanding that what you're creating again is what is at the core of what the gospel is not about. Because now you're making people feel like they're not worthy. Because at the end of the day, you have people who have gotten tattoos. You have people, you know what I'm saying, who haven't changed their dress culture. They have a sense of culture in terms of with wherever they're coming from and their background. You know what I'm saying? I know people sometimes, can you believe it? I saw a Christian with a tattoo. You know, so it gives somebody like, so I can't be a Christian because I have a tattoo. You see what I'm talking about? And we're excluding a lot of people.
And
so
Jesus
that's what I'm
says,
saying.
come.
Which brings us back to Isenge. Let people have a relationship with God and let God be the one to help them from the inside. Because real honesty, real heart starts from the inside. And let God do the work from the inside. Don't care about the outside. Let God do. And the outside begin to reflect.
I like it. As we close, anything you would like to?
Guys, please go easy on Showstar. He's a nice person. Very nice. You don't know, every time I'm about to come up, people are like, are you sure? Are you sure? Showstar, you are scaring people. In fact, you shouldn't even talk to you. You are scaring people?
How do I scare people?
You need to stop this bad manners.
I have no more. Listen, look at this bad manners. Look at the conversation you and me have had. Like, listen, I'll probably just ask you to clear yourself out.
I don't even know how you and I have these great conversations. Like, we have great conversations.
Look at. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. The earring. Mm-hmm. Some people have got they've got like their own views about you. You know what I mean? So if I'm probably just giving you a platform. How do you explain yourself over what people are talking about? Yes. And then you just clear yourself out like you just did, nicely, and we're good. Then we can move on. Somebody, if I'm gonna give you a platform to explain yourself out, then you want to hit me with water bottles and walk out and wait for me outside. Well, let's take it on. You know what I mean? First of all,
at least no guitar was swung today, man. But we're good.
I didn't want you to go all Jeff Jarrett on me. So.
No, but we're good, man. I love you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Did you see? Did you see? Did you see? Muga into one. Did you see? Muga into one. Baby Nabuyanda, baby Nabuyanda. Baby Nabuyanda, baby Nabuyanda, oh, baby Nabuyanda, baby Nabuyanda, baby Nabuyanda, baby Nabuyanda, so low, oh. So, at this moment, I did promise that there was going to be some guest appearances. So I'd like to introduce a friend of mine who's been with me from day one, from my first album. And some of you might know him, and some of you might not. But tonight, you will know him. Mac 44, where you at?
Awele satata shatala monapo. You look reliable, but you won't kuzanako. Kuntuna biliva koka sako Gabanje watawafo mapachano Pamenso ule moneka kwa tishi na nijipo Cause you are my gift.
Classy but yet simple.
Beautiful round eyes,
Right size dimple.
Abike no kutemwa lesa, how can I give more? Isa wikale mo utima wandi wenkeche Olo nava uafita kati umusene sene Olo ameno yali salangana pamuchene Katiniwe chilemba iwe uli muchele Gana kumona nekuta nenso ganda shaina Shaka wekele kubushimbe na lilapila Nakutemwa kwati Yesu atemwa ulukuta Iwe na ine pena penga ni Yesu tusumbula.
Oh, hey, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Sing along if you know it. Baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda, oh, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Now, thank you. I'm not done with surprises. Give it up for Mac 44. Now, some of you guys know J-Rocks, one of the founding members of a group called Zone Fam. But there's a specific guy, some of you guys might know his new song. He used to be called by the name of Thugger, but nowadays he likes to be called Tim. Tim, where you at, man? Come and give us some of that poetic justice.
Hey. Look, gorgeous in the face, a diamond in the soul. You have a heart full of faith and a mind full of gold, baby. Together forever, I assure you. My baby, my queen, I adore you. My world, that's all you. The song, that's for you. You can blush, let those eyelashes. Beauty behind the makeup. You're so in love with your maker. You make me better. Sunshine ukaseka. Songatiniri na iwe naine ni mameka. Hey, walking Proverbs chapter 31. The type to look 21 at like 81. You make me such a better person, but you still remain my better version. You're beautiful.
Baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Oh, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Oh, baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Baby ndakuyanda, baby ndakuyanda. Leandro, did you see? Ndirarojora gumbere. Leandro, did you see? Ndirarojora gumbere. Leandro, did you see? Mugaitu wangu. Ndirarojora gumbere. Leandro, did you see? Mugaitu wangu. Ndirarojora gumbere. Give it up for Tim.